Welcome to Whiskey Wobble Sportcast. We're your host, Chop.
Gator.
Blake.
Chris.
All right,
And sports ball is dead, right?
Yeah.
Because of coronavirus, sports ball caught coronavirus, and now it's all dead.
Yeah, Pigskin can get it.
No sport's got the balls, except the sport with the most balls.
But yeah, one sport decided to say fuck that and open it back up. So let's talk UFC.
Hell yeah. What's up, UFC?
So today is what, Thursday the 14th. So there was fights last night and there was fights last weekend.
And by the time you hear this, there will have been fights again, because there's fights on Saturday also.
Oh yeah. So let's start with the fights last weekend. Dude, how good did it feel to get out of the house and go somewhere and watch fights and barbecue and shit?
Dude, nothing like it, man. Nothing like it.
If you're still on this, we have to stay quarantined all the time, bandwagon. Fuck you. You do that. We're gonna go watch fights. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, can't do it, man.
So, some big names at the top of that card. We had Justin Gaethje fight Tony Ferguson. We had Henry Cejudo, Dominic Cruz, Ngannou. Let's start at the bottom of the main card. Greg Hardy fought Jorgen De Castro. Heavyweight bout. They fucking slugged it out. Y'all remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty easy to see where that one went. I think didn't Greg Hardy used to play football? Didn't he play for the Cowboys and he got fired for like beating a woman or something?
I think so.
Maybe it was the Texans?
Maybe. I don't remember.
I don't know. But yeah, he's got a shady past for sure.
But apparently De Castro's a woman because he got beat by fucking Greg Hardy pretty hard.
Damn, dude. Yeah.
Jeremy Stevens came in, battled his heart out just like always. I think Calvin Kattar is someone to watch because he ended up taking that fight.
Yeah, he made some work, man.
Now, this is the fight that I really wanted to talk about, and this is where we'll really start getting into it. Francis Ngannou against Rosenstruik. Two giant beasts of men, right? Like, these guys... Remember in Sin City when he's talking about Marv and he's like, this guy would be perfectly at home swinging a battle axe into someone's face in an ancient coliseum.
Yeah.
That's both these guys.
Yeah, dude.
Like, both of these guys are just Goliaths.
So on the same thread there, last night there was Ben Rothwell and OSP St. Preux, two giant dudes. Rothwell, former title holder, also.
Yeah, but let's rewind and talk about Ngannou.
It was this is what I'm getting at. It was a similar fight, and what I'm thinking for their next fights is put Ngannou in the ring with Ben Rothwell.
So yeah, Ngannou and Rosenstruik. It was like at any given moment, either one of them could have knocked the other one out. Until Ngannou just completely ran away with it and destroyed him. It's like just steamrolled the fuck out of him.
Dude, just swinging, dude. That replay with him just...
Watching heavyweights is fun, isn't it? Like,
oh yeah,
those guys are so dangerous and scary.
Yeah,
And I'm with you. I didn't see the fights last night, but I think we know where we're going there.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, so before we get into last night's fights, let's wrap this one up. Henry Cejudo, Dominic Cruz.
that was a good fight.
That was a great fight. Henry Cejudo is the champ, right? He came up a weight class. At this point, he's defended the belt and he's pretty much cleared it out, right? Like he's dominated both weight classes and not just and even made defenses. So he's not just like, oh, I happily, he's not Matt Serra. Oh, I knocked out George St. Pierre. He's like, no, I deserve to be here, even though I'm smaller than these guys. Oh, and that was the thing, is he's fighting a bigger person in Dominic Cruz.
Yeah, well, and dude, I got to say, though, I was also impressed with Dominic Cruz. It wasn't like Dominic Cruz showed up and had an off night. Like, he was on. He looked really good. Triple C just beat him.
Yeah, yeah. He looked really good.
So, Henry Cejudo is an amazing fighter, and really unexpected. After he beat Dominic Cruz, he announced his retirement.
He's full of shit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I thought. That was my take a little bit, because in the post-fight, he said something like, They know what it'll take to get me back. Like, they know my number. Mm-hmm. And then you saw him kind of like crawfish in his brain a little bit and was like, no, I've been paid handsomely. I'm done. And it's like, okay, he's begging for
he wants a payday.
Yeah, he wants a big payday. Which, I mean, he might deserve one. He might. But you got to draw in people. Like, that's...
Yeah. People got to want to see you fight. That's how you make money at it.
And, it sucks, but people don't pay as much to watch those little dudes fight.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't take anything away from their talent. It's just...
No, a lot of times they're quite a bit more talented.
Just like we're sitting here talking about how Ngannou-Rozenstruik was such a cool fight, even though those guys are maybe not as talented as Henry Cejudo.
Yeah.
They're just bigger and scarier and more powerful. You know?
Yep.
So it's got that. It's easier to be entertaining. How about that?
Yeah, no,
it doesn't necessarily mean that they're more entertaining because we've seen lots of boring heavyweight fights.
Yeah.
But it's easier to be entertaining. Like, those guys swing a little bit, and you're like, oh, this is a great fight. And meanwhile, the little guys just, like, beat the fuck out of each other. And you're like, yeah. There wasn't a knockout. I'm kind of...
Yeah, exactly. You're rarely going to see a knockout in those lower weight classes. Those upper weight classes, though, it's knockout, central. You just wait for them to happen.
And, if Henry Cejudo does retire, like, actually retire and do like he says he's going to do, I think that's kind of cool. Going back to what you were talking about, my favorite fighters have been in this order: Chuck Liddell, and then Forrest Griffin, and then Cowboy. Like, I mean, kind of one takes the torch, and then the next one,
Yeah,
dude, Cowboy's still my favorite fighter. He still is, and he fought admirably. I kind of felt like he won, but I haven't gone back and like counted or gotten serious about it, but. My bias, at least, watching it, I was like, oh, he'll get it. He'll squeak it out.
Yeah.
And then he didn't. And then, at the end of the day, it's like you put it in the judges' scorecards. You can't get mad if it doesn't go your way.
Yep.
It really says a lot, too, about how good McGregor was against him, Mm-hmm. He won the whole fight.
So I want to, where I was going with that is I want Cerrone, I want the Cowboy to ride off into the sunset. You know what I mean? Like, I want...
Yeah.
Cerrone to be done. I don't want to watch him get fucking beat 20 more times like Chuck Liddell.
Yeah. BJ Penn.
Yeah, exactly. So if Henry Cejudo can do what he says he's going to do and he can swallow his pride and be like, no, I'm done. I did what I came out here to do. Dude, motherfucker's a gold medalist. Like,
yeah.
He's got nothing left to prove. He's cleared out 2 divisions. The only thing he wants is a big payday. And other than that, he's already achieved,
Yeah.
So I'd kind of like to see him like actually be done and be like, I'm just going to retire at the top of my game. I think that's cool.
I didn't realize I've seen him. Obviously, I've seen a number of his fights at this point, but I never really noticed he didn't come off as such a douchebag as he did this time in particular to me.
Yeah,
he had some Conor McGregor level douchebag shit going on leading up to this fight.
And then he throws the comment out there about, how much I want to get paid to come back or whatever he said. That's not verbatim.
Yeah.
But maybe that's what he was going for. Maybe he was going for the hey, look at me, like peacocking thing so that he can get that payday that he thinks he deserves. And he might.
So a couple of things that I took away from it is, one, I didn't realize how much I don't like Triple C. I don't like him as a fighter, as a person, I don't think. And then also I had the reverse effect with Gaethje. I was really impressed with him and his attitude and all, like I like him more than I thought I would.
So remind me, isn't Gaethje the guy that got flying kneed?
No.
Or am I thinking of somebody
else?
else?
That's Ben Askren you're thinking of.
I'm thinking of Ben Askren. Okay.
Different weight class. Well, same weight class, yeah.
But it does take us right into the main event of the evening, right? Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje. And this fight happened because Khabib got held up in Turkestan or wherever the fuck. And is it Kazakhstan? Is that where? Turkmenistan. It's one of those stands.
Yeah.
He got held up in his home country.
Well,
because
apparently his dad's
Russia.
like on his deathbed right now.
Well, so that's happened since then.
Does he have COVID?
No. So
Probably.
So he got held up. He couldn't leave the country, and so they scrambled to try and find a replacement fight. And before this fight happened, I was like, dude, if Gaethje beats Ferguson, which no one thought he would, if Gaethje beats Ferguson, it's gonna fuck the whole thing up. Like, because everybody wants the Ferguson-Khabib fight.
Yeah.
That's off the table. Conor McGregor doesn't really matter, but now all of a sudden he's relevant again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the whole thing is flipped on its head. And there was a little bit of contention after the fights. I don't know, Chris, Gator, if y'all remember, after we watched the fights, arguing about where it goes from here.
Yeah. There were some bets made that night.
Dudes, it's got to be Gaethje McGregor. It's got to be.
Yeah.
And they put the interim belt, which, by the way, that interim belt just seemed like a slap in the face to Khabib, right? Like that was just a way to get under his skin and be like, hey, fuck you for not showing up,
Yeah, we're going on without you.
I honestly, I wanted to just be fine then. Let Gaethje fight Khabib. Like, let's put them in the ring together. I want to see that matchup.
I know that's what people
a really good matchup.
I know that's what people want, but Conor McGregor draws huge numbers. He'd be easy to sell in a COVID type world where you can't have a giant crowd there, so you're going to make your money.
And Gaethje will probably piece him up.
And if that happens, I don't know, it stays interesting. Honestly, that's what I think will happen. But why would you send Gaethje straight up to fight Khabib if you could get that payday first and then send Gaethje up and fight Khabib? And if he loses, then you've got
a Conor Khabib rematch,
right? Which will sell also, or
yes.
You could save that one for later. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
the fight is already in your pocket now. You're gonna use it. You're gonna play it in the right order. You have to.
Yes.
So Ferguson's fucking out, right? He's fucking out.
He's done, dude. There's nowhere for him to go anymore.
I'd like to see Diaz take another crack at him.
Yeah, that could be fun. They're kind of built the same. They fight weird too.
Mm-hmm.
So Gaethje goes and fights Conor. It's a huge super fight for the interim belt. Which, by the way, they slapped that interim belt on him, and he took it off and threw it on the ground.
That was the one thing I didn't like about him, is that he did that.
Well, he said, "Fuck that! I want the real one." Yeah. And that was kind of his way of. I think he had already thought about this, right? Like, if I win, they're going to give me Conor. They're not going to give me Khabib. My argument to that is, because I think that's what he meant by throwing the belt on the ground. My argument to that is they're gonna throw a number out in front of him, and it's a number bigger than any number he's ever seen before to fight Conor. Probably more than he'll get paid to fight Khabib. So once they throw that number out there, dude, he's gonna take the fight. Like, he's going to.
And for the fans, dude, that's a cool fight.
Right.
There's both strikers.
They're both strikers. Yep.
It's a cool fight. It's not like Conor said in his Twitter rant about another man hugging a guy's legs. Like. It's none of that.
Dude, but Gaethje is a fighter at heart. Like, the only thing that I could think of, the only other fighter that I could think of that is on his level of enjoys to fight that much would be like Clay Guida.
Yeah, he likes to fight. He likes to fight.
Like, Clay Guida used to just come in the cage like he couldn't wait. It was like he was waiting in line for the most badass roller coaster or something.
Yeah,
you know?
Ready to go.
And Gaethje totally has that same poise. Like, he wants to be in there. Like, he wants to fight. Like, it's what does it for him. More than the belts, more than the money, more than the winning.
And his coaches will, because they want to get paid too, right? Like, his coaches will be like, dude, how good is that going to look? How good is that going to feel to beat Conor? And I think they'll sell him on it. I don't think it's going to be a hard sell at all.
Yeah. No, he'll take it.
I remember
I just don't want it to go that way.
I remember watching Keith Jardine, and he looked like whenever he entered the ring, he was just ready to eat somebody's flesh or something. Like, he was the craziest looking motherfucker.
Yeah, dude. His whole build, like his beard, shaved head, he was so creepy looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to see Gaethje Khabib though, just because Khabib's a little more like get you down on the ground and ground and pound style, but I think that Gaethje might have good enough takedown defense to curb it. And if he can keep him standing, he's going to beat up Khabib.
Yeah, I'm afraid too. If it is Conor and Gaethje and Conor wins, it's just going to be another lame Conor Khabib fight.
Well, and after watching what happened to Ferguson in the Gaethje fight, like, I honestly, sure. I'll watch Khabib beat the shit out of Ferguson too. But I think that's how it's going to go.
I think there is a weird dynamic where I think certain fighters are better equipped to deal cerreen fighters than other ones.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that's where we get the like love triangles of who was it, like Holly Holm, Amanda Nunes, and
No, nobody beat my man. It was Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey,
Ronda Rousey. Yeah,
somebody else.
Yeah, I thought there was someone else.
There was a third one, and one beat the other, but that one beat another one, and then that person beat the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll into last night's fights, and I didn't watch this one. I do have it pulled up on my phone so I can see who won.
I did watch them. Last night's fights. Yeah. I watched both fights. I watched the fights on Saturday and last night's. And I got to say that the cards were on par with each other. The fights were very similar in a lot of ways. We'll start the other way. We'll start at the top on this one. So the main fight was Teixeira and Smith. Smith looks like a mean fighting machine. And he basically got beat down for 5 rounds by Teixeira, to the level of the Ferguson fight, probably worse. So after the second round, he went back to his corner and took his mouthpiece out, and his teeth fell on the ground. And he said, "My teeth are falling out." And his coach picked him up and put him in his pocket, and then was like, "You need to pay attention and do better." Dude, he's about to die. And he fucking hung in there for another 7.5 minutes. It made it into the 5th round.
His name, I guess, is Lionheart. And people were all over Twitter being like, "Yeah, dude, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah,
you deserve that name."
He didn't quit.
Because he kept fighting. He got his teeth knocked out. He kept fighting.
He didn't quit, dude. Yep.
Reminds me that he was the fighter that broke his hand.
Uriah Faber broke his hand, one with his elbows.
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah. Well, this story wasn't quite so triumphant. He got his teeth knocked out and then kept getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
But motherfucker's tough, and
he stayed in there. They were talking about it should be called halfway through the second round, and this thing went to 5 rounds, and it didn't get any better for him the whole time. He got demolished.
And Anthony Smith held his own against Bones Jones.
Yeah, he's a tough motherfucker, dude.
So my mind immediately goes, okay, what's up with Teixeira Jones?
So Teixeira has won 6 of his last 7, and he's on the rise. He's making a play for it at 40 years old. He's making a play for it.
Didn't John Jones just have another test from God or something? Where he
I think he went to jail.
Yeah.
His Dewey?
Didn't he crash another car drunk, not cocaine or something?
Beat up a hooker and shit, yeah.
God throws a lot of those hurdles in front of him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Look what God just did to us, man.
I know. Fucking God damn it.
No, that
Dude, I hope
sure
he just
happened,
sticks to it. Man, come on. Just Charlie Sheen it up, bro. Yeah. Just straight up, own it. It is what it is. I'm this person. I'm a fucked up person. And own it.
It's good for the fans.
That for sure happened, because I remember the memes about, well, at least something stayed the same in 2020. And
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so
Thanks,
Glover Teixeira is going to make a title run. He might have two or more fights in front of him before he gets there, but he's on the road to it.
So I also saw a tweet that John Jones said something about Ovince St. Preux, and I guess he kind of relates to him, or at least in his style of fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And the tweet was something along the lines of I kept imagining myself as a heavyweight. Because Ovince St. Preux is
I saw that.
My size, but he's gotten bigger to fight heavyweight, and he fights like me.
Yeah, and Rothwell walked through him.
It does make me maybe that's him being I'm not moving up to heavyweight, which is what he's always said.
Yeah, and I don't think he will. I think that's what he was saying is this is why I'm not moving up to heavyweight is because of that. Rothwell's a beast, dude. That dude, he's a beast.
I would like to see John Jones flex a little bit though.
Ben Rothwell's 40. Never mind. Glover Teixeira is 37. I had that backwards.
Are you sure?
Yeah, Ben Rothwell's the one. He's one of 2 or 3 fighters that's won 4 fights over the age of 40.
No, Teixeira's the old motherfucker.
Now Teixeira's 38, and then Anthony Smith is 37.
Huh?
They're all old motherfuckers in my book.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Ben Rothwell's the one that's making a play for it.
So who else fought last night? We got Ben Rothwell of St. Preux, and we got Teixeira.
Another one that really, really impressed me was Drew Dober. This is somebody, I guess he's been around. He has a pretty huge record. I don't think he's fought too much in the UFC though. But he's training with Justin Gaethje, and man, they look the same in the ring.
What weight class is he?
He's a beast. He's in lightweight, so 155, right?
Yeah.
Man, a lot of weird directions that it can go right now. There's a lot of potential. I'm really glad that UFC was like, fuck it, like, let's do it.
Yeah, dude.
And basically, all they had to do was find a venue, right? That was like, fuck it also. And they found it in Florida. Florida's like, fuck it, we don't care.
We want to make money.
Yeah.
So,
we still got meth gators we got to pay for.
Last fight worth touching. Well, I mean, there was obviously some great ones in the prelims and whatnot, but last major one to touch on in last night's card is Arlovsky and Lins. Philippe Lins.
Can you believe Arlovsky is still fighting? Someone asked me,
Damn,
what was the first UFC
earlier.
you watched? And I remember, like, it was like Arlovsky and like Paul Buentello or something crazy. I mean, it was so long ago.
Fuck.
Like, Arlovsky's been around as long as I've been watching UFC.
How old is he now?
I don't know how old he is.
40? 38?
Did he get his shit pushed in?
Andrei Arlovsky won.
Fuck.
Wow.
He beat Philippe Lins, who was stronger and younger, and Arlovsky just did what he does, man. He kind of got beat up through the first round and then just kind of took it from there and ran with it.
That's crazy.
It went all 3 rounds.
There's a bunch of old timers on that card, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, it was a cool card. Like I said, all the fights were good.
Who do we got coming up? What do we got coming up? It's Overeem, right? God, I'm so sick of Overeem. That motherfucker.
Overeem's beat a lot of really infamous people, though.
He's also scary.
Lately? Because I'm pretty sure every time I've seen him fight lately, he'll...
Get knocked out?
Yeah.
No, so what I think is happening and what it looks like to me is they're feeding Overeem to Walt Harris. Basically, Walt Harris's daughter got murdered like last year or something.
Oh,
and she was missing for like a long period of time. And so he had to take like a year and a half off. And basically this is his first fight back. And I think he's going to rip Overeem in half.
He's got a little bit of pent up dad rage.
Oh,
yeah, probably just a bit. Dude.
I remember all that when they were looking for her and they found her. She was like kidnapped from a gas station or something.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, she's like 19. 16 or something. Yeah.
Who else is on that card?
Um,
Anybody good?
We got some girls, Angela Hill and Claudia Gadella.
Mm-hmm.
Barboza is fighting.
Oh, he's good.
Other than that, not really.
It's that motherfucker that kicks so hard.
See what's on the prelims. Matt Brown's fighting in the prelims.
So a lot of good potential. And you know what? I think, Chris, you made this point earlier today when we were talking on the phone. I think what's happening is we went so long without having fights that now they're just all like stacked up on top of each other. So they can stack these cards with just badass fight after badass fight. And, you know, yes, also I as a fan, I feel like they kind of owe us a little bit, you know. So I'm all right with it. I think let's do some badass cards.
Yeah, I'm all about this, dude. I'm so glad they turned it back on and they're doing it. It's cool. It's 85% of the way there. There's no crowd, but it's still cool.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that.
That's definitely a factor.
So we were watching it, and all of us were like, dude, this is kind of weird watching. And, you know, we've watched The Ultimate Fighter and some other events where it's like there's no crowd, and you can kind of get used to that. But the post-fight interview is where it's really, like, jarring.
When they win and they're all hype and it's just like 4 dudes hype in a ring and nobody else around them, it changes the whole dynamic.
So we ended up, one of the guys, fuck you, Rob. One of the guys that was watching the fights with us, just kind of jokingly found like crowd cheers and screams and stuff, like
a 10-hour repeat.
On his phone. And he started playing it, and we all kind of laughed or whatever, and it went to commercial, and he turned it off. Well, then it came back, and we were like, okay, this is weird. Turn the fucking cheers back on. And he did. We set his phone right underneath the TV, and it honestly makes it better.
Real quiet volume, but it was nice, yeah.
I saw a thing, I think it was yesterday or today, that I think Fox Sports is about to start putting crowd noises, like they're going to edit it in into like all their sporting events now.
Good, they need to.
Black out the stands so you can't hardly tell, and then edit in the noise, and it's...
Damn, we're getting it. Yeah, that's going to be crazy.
Ugh. So weird, dude.
Then you just fire all the athletes and use computer-generated athletes.
Yeah, now we're playing video games.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now it's cool.
All right, guys, the Whiskey and Whiskers website's up. It's whiskeyandwhiskerspodcast.com. If you'd like to support the show, there's a link to our Patreon account with pledges starting at just $1. Whiskeyandwhiskerspodcast.com. You can also find links to the show no matter how you choose to listen. iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, Podbean. And there's live feeds to our social media on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Again, that's whiskeyandwhiskerspodcast.com. And we'll see you next week.